Some of you may recall a few weeks ago, we spoke with Bob Wellington of Agrimark Cooperative. He told us about an industry meeting he was organizing set for August 13th. Well, August 13th was Monday, and Sherry Bunting is with us, who attended that meeting. Sherry's a dairy journalist from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Sherry. Good morning. And please tell us a little bit about the meeting.
Yes, I attended the meeting, and there were between 300 and 350 as far as the number of people attending, and a good half of them were dairy farmers. Many of those were on their own co-op boards. There were some small co-ops represented as well as large. And I'd say about 10 states represented. There were a number of attorneys, cooperative staff, members of legislative advisory staffs, as well as a few lenders, other, industry-related people. So it was definitely a constructive meeting.
A number of people made presentations and had discussions, obviously, in the reports that I've seen. A veteran dairy producer from Vermont, Bill Rowell, who's been involved in marketing for a while, had made some comments. Maybe you'd characterize them if you would.
Yes, I think the morning session really kind of laid the groundwork in talking about what the past programs, as well as what co-ops, some of them are currently doing. And there was a panel of attorneys that had talked about antitrust issues, if there's a collective group of cooperatives, working together to slow down production. And there were questions and answers, and Bill Rowell did, go to the producer microphone, and he really shared his insights right from his heart. And basically there was a frustration that there couldn't be, a decision that day to move toward an internal type of solution that would not require political action. And, he shared what's happening out in rural America, basically that this is affecting, the way he put it, putting good people out on the street. And he basically asked for a sense of urgency and for people to look at this as, a way to maybe even come to a quicker decision to do something even apart from a legislative action to give producers, a chance to right the ship. One of the things that he mentioned is that, it's hard to do projects without a federal subsidy. There are vendors who are out 120 days, on receivables, and lenders are not very impressed with how the dairy industry is doing business right now because of how it's affecting their customers.
The National Dairy Producers Organization has made an effort to communicate with dairy producers across the country. I saw some reports of some comments that Mike Eby made. Can you characterize those for us, perhaps?
Yes. He talked about what he called, if you want to go fast, if you want to do something now, that there were 4 things that producers could do to hold their cooperatives accountable to match milk production within the cooperative more directly with the market that they serve, whether it's processing capacity or markets that they sell to. And some of those included, not marketing member milk or non-member milk, not chasing markets that don't pay a price above the cost of the members to make the milk, and basically to use things like a 100% USA logo to differentiate from imported products in the marketplace, and just the overall sense of, following perhaps what may be sort of Land O'Lakes lead, where they, are really trying to keep production to what their capacity is and what their market is. And his belief that he shared, and others kind of piggybacked in their producer comments, is that if every cooperative took this step independently, maybe it would pass under Capper-Volstead, and then everybody could share that benefit. So it's not a matter of everybody doing the same thing, but each cooperative doing a little bit better job of being accountable to matching production to the market.
Speaking of the major co-ops, apparently John Wilson, an executive with Dairy Farmers of America, DFA, was there and made some comments. Tell us what he shared.
Yes, that was toward the end of the day, and we had heard some of the different proposals. Not everybody was there to present the proposals that are on the website, but John did mention that there is this $12 billion ag package for agriculture affected by the retaliatory tariffs, and that was announced by USDA, and dairy will get a chunk of that. And with the Farm Bill currently going to conference committee, a similar set of circumstances in the 1980s with Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont on the conference committee. He at that time was able to get a dairy diversion program through in conference. So right now there's really nothing in terms of a solution here in the House or Senate side on the Farm Bill. So John suggested that maybe everybody there could work together toward a short-term solution of something that would use some of that $12 billion impact fund to manage supply in the short term while working on a longer term framework that would be practical and would be government sanctioned.
Any other impressions that you came away with?
Yes, I mean, I felt that there was an overwhelming consensus to do something. I just felt that there was concern about the political action being such a slow route. And, many people felt that, they almost had this in 2009, although Bob Gray, who is with the Northeast Dairy Farmers Cooperatives, he said that the design of the previous program that would have been in the 2014 Farm Bill may not have had much of an effect. However, you had mentioned, I think, Wisconsin Farmers Union, Kara O'Connor had been there to present the original Holstein plan, and there's actual economic analysis of that showing how it would have performed 2013, 2017. So it would have lopped off the high in 2014, that it wouldn't have gone as high, but it would have, what we're seeing now the last 4 years would not have been as low. So, I think there's a feeling that something needs to be done. It's just a matter of what can we do in the short term, because right now there's a lot of really good dairymen out there that don't have much time.
Finishing up, did Bob Wellington or others suggest what some concrete next steps might be?
Yes, absolutely. I think Agrimark and Bob, they're very motivated on this, and there's a website, www.dairyproposals2018.com, and that has all of the proposals that were put forward that day, as well as others that were submitted that did not have a person to present them. And I think there's a spot to actually place a proposal on if a group has one. You can comment, you can review, read the whole proposal. I plan to do some follow-up articles on some that seem to stand out as having maybe more of a chance. And I think, Bob Wellington explained theirs, which is the direct base plan. And that, had some different features to it, different from the original Holstein plan. So, and that would trigger in and out on a $20, whenever the price would get below 20. So there are things there, and I think the biggest thing that needs to happen is for producers to look at that and review it and comment. And there's a working group being assembled to kind of follow this through to see if the industry can coalesce around one idea and be able to present that. Because what some of the attorneys and lobbyists who were there had mentioned is if you bring something to Congress, you have to show the public interest, first of all, and you have to show agreement. And they were basically saying that a legislative action would help bring processors and consumers to the table, that you have something that is good for all.
Well, thank you, Sherry. We've been speaking with Sherry Bunting, a journalist in Pennsylvania who attended the industry meeting on August 13th in Albany, New York. Thanks for speaking with us, Sherry. This is Joel Hastings for Dairy Business News.